So, just gotta get the game started, and we'll be good to go. So, Dylan, have you played Buckshot Roulette?
No, I do know of it though.
Yeah, it's like exploded.
Yeah.
Which I have been benefiting immensely from because Kira, the person who Kira, yeah. Whoa, why am I hearing myself? Hold on. Whoa, oh no, it's echoing. No, stop. Okay, all right. I had a tab open to my own stream.
Oh no.
I don't know if that was coming through on the stream or not. I think it was because it was creating like a feedback echo. Anyway, because so Kira, who is the person who made Lunacid and Lost in Vivo and stuff like that, they just randomly messaged me and they were like, "Hey, do you want to be part of a bundle with the Steam version of Buckshot Roulette?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds good." Iron Lung. It's
free
Rusty
money.
Also. Yeah, yeah. Usually bundles aren't that much free money, but the instant the bundle was live, like my sales chart just like like
Yep.
it was after that I'm like, yo, that was a great idea, Kira, making the Buckshot Roulette bundle, or whoever. I don't know if it was their idea or the Buckshot Roulette developer or who, but anyway, so that's done immensely well, but I hadn't even played the game at that point. I just seen that it was around. So I bought it and I just was playing some before the stream, and I don't know how well that's gonna hold up for like extended playtime, but geez, what a brilliant concept. From like moment one, like I'm playing it, I'm like, oh, this is such a good idea. It's one of those games where I'm like, I'm kind of mad I didn't think of this, because it's just such a simple and effective idea. It's really intense. Like immediately, it's like it's stress inducing. But yeah, I was playing that, and oh, I have is Dark Souls? Yes, okay. Wasn't sure if Dark Souls was actually being streamed or not. I gotta get the oh, I haven't selected a character. That's why.
You will need to stream it to me as well.
Yes, that's right. Sorry, someday I'll get all of this set up without... Nope, not camera. Turn off camera. You don't want to see me. There. You should see it now.
Sweet, yep.
Okay, someone... Oh, Graham asked, plans for a bundle with Squirrel with a Gun. I mean, I would be up for it. That really just depends on the Squirrel with it, because I mean, Squirrel with a Gun is like huge. that's a really popular. Well, it's a popular concept, I guess. It's not out, right? I don't think it is anyway. But yeah, so that like but Squirrel Stapler is very small compared with that game, but I would definitely be up for it if those devs were. Yeah, it gets numbers on Twitter, and I mean, it gets a lot of articles written about it and stuff too, I think, doesn't it? Oh, is the death counter working now? We just make sure the death counter is...
Make sure the death counter works.
Yeah, it's very important. Yes, it appears to be working. Okay. Now I need to try and remember what we were doing. Oh, my windows are all out of order now. So let's see. What do I remember? I remember I'm in a very dark cove of some sort. Don't even remember if this is forward progress or not. I think it is. Yeah, you guys see it. Okay. Is this progress? This doesn't look like progress. I think this is back the wrong... That's back the wrong way. Okay, I remember this now. So over the last week, my youngest brother, Johnny, who is... he's the dev of MFN and Kyle is Famous. One of the devs of MFN. He got Elden Ring, has been playing that on a Steam Deck that he recently acquired. And predictably, last night he was like, I don't know, this isn't really doing it for me. which is
surprised.
I'm not surprised either. He also really didn't vibe with Dark Souls at all. And then he was like, so I started as the Wretch. And I was like, no! Why? You fell for the Wretch! Because it had the most balanced stats.
No, that's... no.
Yeah, I know. And so he's gonna... I told him, like, how to get the, what is that called? The Lord Longsword thingy. I told him how to get that, and he's gonna see if he can make progress, but he said he might have to just start over with a different character.
The most balanced stats? Come on, man. Has he never played D&D or anything like that?
No. Well, wait. Yes, he has. No, he has played D&D. Johnny is interesting in a lot of ways, but he's very, very good with he's very good with rule sets, but when the rule sets aren't clearly laid out, he sometimes runs into trouble. Which, of course, is that's the whole deal with Souls games, is that the rule sets there is no rule sets, basically. So I'm hoping it'll click for him at some point, because I love Elden Ring. It's like the most fun I've ever had with a open world game, but it may just not be for him. I just thought that was really funny. It was like, yeah, I started as the Wretch, and I'm like, oh no!
Just such bad
pain.
Such bad experience. Like, yeah, just the worst choice you could make.
Yeah.
I have another, this is actually, Eric's brother, whose name is Ian. I attempted to show them. It was either Dark Souls or Bloodborne, and the hang-up they had was that they tried to fight an early game enemy that was basically, you know how like those games will throw a very difficult enemy at you, like at the beginning of Elden Ring, like the Tree Sentinel.
Yeah.
They'll throw an enemy at you that you're not really supposed to kill at the beginning of the game, and it kind of serves as a like, hey, don't fight this enemy right now.
That didn't work.
But the problem is Eric's brother Ian has this thing where he really doesn't like it when a game puts an enemy in front of him that he can't beat, because he will continually throw himself at it over and over and over again, and try and defeat it out of spite.
Oh, great.
Until he basically ruins the game for himself. So...
Oh, yeah, that does sound like similar to another problem Johnny was having, which is that he got to Margit, but he feels like anything else he does that isn't trying to defeat Margit is like wasting time, and he feels like he wants to just throw himself at the fight over and over until he gets it. But it's not in a fun way, not like he wants to do that because that's what's fun. Correct. It's like he feels compulsed, which... thanks for the sub-gifting, by the way. How does that work? How does sub-gifts... gifting 5? Okay, so they go to different people. What's the progress bar there? 10 out of 10. I don't know what that means. That maybe I had a goal set for gifting subs or something. Thank you for that, though. Anyway, you were going to say, Dylan?
Yeah, it's just interesting that there are subsets of players who will actually destroy their own game experience, either intentionally or unintentionally.
Yeah, well, I think there is also an element of like I can't really blame anyone who doesn't vibe with the specific, very strange way that Souls games do things, because it's like, I can totally see how that could be something that is frustrating and stressful if you're a different sort of person. But there is also an element of like, Johnny is like incredibly good at games. He is better at games than I will ever be. But there is sometimes I think his blind spot is if the rule set isn't laid out very clearly, he's not quite sure what to do. Yeah, because he's incredibly good at when there's a like laid out series of like this is how this works. This is oh geez, I'm gonna have to get back on the wagon with this. Let's like this is how this works. This is this. This is this. His brain is so good at taking all that stuff and figuring out how can I turn this to my advantage. So he's great at things like fighting games. Or like things like that where it's very technical and it's very like yeah, like based on a learnable way that the game functions. But when it's something where the game will like change the way it works or like expect you to just kind of try stuff and not necessarily to know if it's going to work or not, it doesn't work as well for him.
It's kind of interesting because I feel like I have a lot of friends where Elden Ring managed to click for them in a way that Souls games never have, because they how do I express this? They sort of came at it with being okay with like. So like they run into Margit and Margit kicks their ass immediately. Maybe they'll do like 1 or 2 attempts, and then they're kind of okay with being like, okay, this is too much. This is gonna be too difficult. So I'm gonna go somewhere else.
It's not even really gank. It's just 2 guys, but it's effective 2-man gank. Anyway, yeah. It I feel go ahead. Sorry.
If you're like a new player and you're sort of like open to, I'm okay that the game is sort of telling me this is going to be a challenge. I'll just go elsewhere, and level up and come back. Whereas I feel like if you're sort of coming in with the expectation of like, oh, I'm a good player, I should be able to handle this, and just kind of throw yourself into the pit of hell over and over again. It's going to be a much harder time.
Yeah, that is how I approached Margit. Although that was an intentional choice, because I was like, I'm going to figure out how to play this like the pros do, and it was pain and suffering, and it was great. Yeah, I mean, I'm sharing all of this not to like shame him or be like, haha, Johnny doesn't get it or whatever. I just think it's very interesting. Because we all 3 of us, there are 3 Szymanski brothers. There's me, there's Evan, and there's Johnny. And we all are very strongly opinionated about what we like to see things do, not just games, but any sort of creativity. We have very strong opinions about what we like it to do and what we don't like it to do. And those opinions aren't always the same. And it's just sometimes really interesting why things don't work. Like in this case, it's just interesting that he's a very skilled player and there's just this way it isn't clicking for him that isn't something that is talked about a lot, I guess. Not that it should be, but it's like the idea that it's this is my analysis of it, that it's like the rules aren't clear, and so that makes it kind of difficult to understand what to do if you're a certain type of person.
So you've brought that phrase up, the rules aren't clear, a couple times. I'm kind of curious what you sort of mean by that. Is the rule clarity that like, oh, this game is trying to tell me through difficulty that I shouldn't be here? Is that or is it more about like would Johnny be happy if like when he enters Margit Arena it was like Doom Eternal and it was like dodge this
no,
attack
not
to
no, not necessarily. Encounter. It's more that let's see, I'm trying to think of a clearer way. Yay, now they're lit. Now it's all cozy in here.
And I'm trying not to. I'm. It's still early for me, so my my communication skills are kind of trash.
Understandable.
I'm not trying to say this in a sort of demeaning way or like, oh, John's stupid because he doesn't like Elden Ring or whatever. I'm just curious. Like, I think the idea of a player needing like clear rule sets is kind of interesting, and I'm kind of trying to get a feel for like what preferences he'd like in that regard.
Hold on one sec. Let me get rid of these. Oh, this is proper gank now. Yay.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a gank section.
I got stamina starved like an idiot. Ah! Just swinging wildly. Okay, so let me look at something really quick here. I'm gonna see if Johnny will actually join instead of like the chat, just so instead of me giving my take on it, he could actually explain better.
Sure. The funny thing, like, Dylan just realized how close he got to get good. The funny thing is that I think the appropriate answer in this scenario is like, oh, just probably go somewhere else, level up until you can basically beat Margit in the face with like 3 attacks, and then, like, I'm pretty sure that's how Dave did it.
Yeah.
I was stupid and did the same thing against Malenia and was like, oh, I'm gonna beat her like legitimately, and it took me so many attempts, and I beat her, and I was like, man, fuck Malenia.
Actually,
and
you
then
know what?
Dave was
I'm
like,
not even
gonna.
I'm just gonna see if I can add him to the call. Sorry, go ahead, Dylan.
Then Dave was like, oh yeah, no, I leveled until I was like level 200. I went into the Malenia fight, summoned all my knights, like cast my blasphemous blade.
Sorry, I accidentally ended the call with Dylan. Oops. Sorry, Dylan, I didn't realize that would end the call.
Oh, that just like cut me out.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sorry. I'm seeing if Johnny will pick up. Ah, it's still ringing and he hasn't picked up. Because he's online. I think he's working on the game. Okay, well we'll see. We'll see if he replies at some point. Anyway, sorry, Dylan. You got cut off when you were talking about Dave. Well, how Dave beat Malenia.
Yeah, and so basically he just like bombarded Malenia with like overpowered, what we would basically call like cheese tactics, and was just like, beat her into the fucking dirt, and then pointed down at her at the end, and it was just sort of like, yeah, that's fair fucking game. The game gives you all these tools to do that. There's really there's nothing wrong with what he did, and the fact that like I almost feel stupid for having done it the hard way.
Yeah. I think we talked about this last stream where it's like the sort of player-led dynamic difficulty of Elden Ring is really cool.
You'll have to start the stream again for me.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. He also mentioned that he was not really finding anything interesting. He was like, so what? Like all I'm finding is like repeated assets and the same enemies and stuff. He was like, so what is there in Limgrave? And I was like, well, there's like a giant forest filled with giant bears. There's like this elevator down to this whole subterranean kingdom. There's like all these little catacombs and boss battles and all this stuff, and he hadn't found any of those somehow. He's been playing for like 8 hours. And I'm not quite sure. That's why I really want to get him in the call, because I would like to hear more of like how that happened, because literally Elden Ring is probably the most fun I have ever had with an open world game, and probably the only open world game I've ever played where I actually felt like I could explore around anywhere and have a chance of finding interesting bespoke content.
Yeah, I don't know. That just sounds like a. I mean, you can't like force someone to enjoy a game.
Yeah. No. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, he's gonna join. He said he'll be here in a moment.
I played Resident Evil 1, but, you know, is there anything to find? I just keep fighting the same zombie.
Oh, he loves Resident Evil Remake.
I know. I'm
yeah.
poking fun. I know that he loves RE1.
Yeah. Oh, here's another toy. I am more interested in lighting all these torches than I am in making progress.
Same. Me too.
Speaking of Resident Evil, so this week I decided to finally start back in and start the RE4 remake again. Because there's Johnny. Hi, Johnny.
Hello.
I'll talk about that later. Hey, so we were talking about your experiences with Elden Ring, and I thought instead of me trying to trying to summarize and give my own analysis, you could just come in and like explain your experience you've had with Elden Ring. Because I think it's an interesting discussion to have, since there's a huge difference in how we both reacted to the game. It's like, for me, it's like the most fun I've ever had with a open world game, as one of my favorite games ever. And for you, you've kind of bounced off of it for a variety of reasons, some of which were unfortunate mistakes, and some of which I feel like are just sort of a personality difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Tell us why you suck.
Yes,
is that right?
Okay, why is
I think what's interesting here is it is a mixture. It's not just, it doesn't work for me. Some of it was, that's unfortunate. So to preface, this is for all intents and purpose the first Souls game that I've actually spent.
You played a little bit of Dark Souls 1. You played up to Undead Parish, I think, right?
Is that where the butterfly boss is?
Oh, God.
No, that's in you. So you played some of Darkroot Garden, and I know you at least played up to Undead Parish.
Okay. So I stopped at the butterfly boss, because
understandable.
I don't like the butterfly boss.
No, most people don't.
But I only
it's
played
pretty,
the game for like a couple hours. You know, like it wasn't a true try, you know? So I was kind of coming into Elden Ring being like, okay, I know this is a little bit of like the slightly easier Souls, from Soft
it's
Souls.
It's the hardest and the easiest at the same time.
Right, because you've got a way to be able to get around the hardness, because you can go grind, you know?
Well, not just that, there's a bunch of different, like, you can go to other areas, you can use stuff that will just get around the problem. I'm just gonna craft a bunch of sleep pots and use those or things like that. But anyway, continue.
Margit's Shackle and stuff.
Get Margit's Shackle, yeah.
So I'm coming into this without like any, for all intents and purpose, any pre-knowledge of like normally how FromSoft games function. So the first thing that happens is I get to the character select screen and I'm looking through the classes and I'm like, yeah, all of these seem kind of like specialists. And then I get to the bottom and I'm like, oh, a balanced class. Okay, well, I don't know what I want to do yet, so I'll just choose the class that has balanced stats so that I can kind of like figure out what I find is fun and grow into it.
Which does make sense.
That this class being the Wretch is like a bit notoriously understated. You know, somebody that's meant for like a second playthrough or people who want a challenge or something like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize this until I've played the game for about 8 hours now. I only just realized this right at the end of my last play session, where I was like, oh, wait a minute. I chose the wretch. Surely this is affecting things, but I'll explain that in a little bit. So that was kind of the first unfortunate decision. So I get into the game. Tutorial goes fine. I mean, I've played a fair bit of Monster Hunter, so I'm kind of at least used to the
weighty
slow
combat.
Yeah, the weighty combat. Yeah.
Like animation dependent combat.
Yeah, exactly, Dylan. Yeah. So that's all fine. No problems there. I get outside, and it's like, okay, well, you know, you've got these grace trails, so you're supposed to follow the grace trails. That'll tell you where to go, because that's the thing for the tarnished, right? You know, the one hope for them or whatever. And so right after that, I get the horse ring, and so I'm like, okay, so I'm going to use this horse ring, and I'm going to follow the grace trails to kind of kickstart the game.
Wait, what is the horse? Okay, yeah, to get the horse. Okay. I was thinking in Dark Souls terms of what is the horse ring? I forgot that the whistle is a ring.
Yeah. And so I follow down the trails and the trail of grace, and very quickly it becomes obvious that like I'm just not able to kill anything. Like anything more than like one enemy at a time. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to do this. So then I kind of go out exploring off to the sides a little bit, but then it's like the same problem. Like I just can't seem to get anywhere, and every enemy that I encounter just seems like way too over leveled. Keep in mind, at this point, I still did not realize that like if you die, your runes drop on the ground, right? So it's
really?
Like, well, yeah, right, because I don't have any knowledge of how FromSoft
it doesn't
work.
tutorialize that?
If it did, I missed it.
Yeah, it does, but it's
FromSoft tutorials.
Yeah, I mean that is something that's kind of weird. It's weird when you play like Dark Souls for the first time, and it's like, oh, you know, your XP gets dropped, and you have to go pick it up.
Right. And eventually I did remember that this was a thing from Dark Souls 1, and I was like, oh, I'll bet this is the same thing. No wonder my character isn't getting any better. But this was hours into playing, right?
I didn't realize that. That would be huge.
Yeah, and remember also I'm using the Wretch too, who like by nature isn't really able to easily handle even like the smaller enemies up front, and doesn't like have any good weapons. So like as one example, so you know, I'm going around, I'm not really getting anywhere. I do manage to get the pumpkin helmet from the thing on the bridge.
Oh yeah, the pumpkin dude.
Yeah. So that was literally the only piece of armor I could find.
That's amazing.
Really sad.
That's an amazing
which was
build.
Pretty hilarious. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm really getting anywhere here. I can't really seem to kill anything, and at that point, I still didn't even know like how to level up because I wasn't seeming to get any resources. So I decided to.
Oh, you didn't realize that runes were for leveling up also?
Well, I didn't know I was getting them.
Oh, okay.
Because it just pops up in the side, and I just didn't even notice, and then they would just go away every time I died.
Oh,
so
wow.
You didn't notice. Okay, so you kill an enemy, they flutter for a second, and then the number.
Oh, jeez, that
number in the corner goes up, and you didn't make that connection.
Well, I didn't make the connection because that number kept changing back down to 0, and it took a little while before I noticed that number was going up, and then it was fluctuating because I was dying and it was going away. So I was just I don't know, it didn't like seem like it was an important number to me
because it's just a tiny thing that keeps changing in the upper right. Okay.
Until I remembered, I
can see that.
The Dark Souls 1, that's like a big part of it is like sometimes you kill the enemies but you go back so that you keep your runes. It's probably the same thing. So but in my mind I was like, okay, this must mean that I'm supposed to be following the trails of grace that I went off the path to, especially because like a lot of the time I'm kind of known for like missing signals when I'm playing games. Like this is a pretty common thing. Where it's like,
I guess that is true. Yeah, that is a running thing.
It's like a running joke, right? Because I'm trying to do it my own way. So it's like, okay, I need to just like do it the way the game's asking me to do because I'm gonna like ruin this for myself. So I go back on the Trail of Grace, and then I get to Margit. So I'm literally coming into Margit as a base level wretch with a single piece of armor, and thinking that what I'm supposed to do is kill this boss, right? And so I spend, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours kind of grinding out, trying to figure out how to do the boss essentially without taking damage.
It's I was going like, so poorly. Why am I'm sorry. Are you watching the video, Johnny?
Yeah.
I'm doing so badly against this one guy. I'm gonna go restart this. I'm gonna go rest. That was terrible.
There he goes.
Yep.
So obviously at some point, it was after I got to the point where I could like consistently.
That helmet is so cool. I want that.
The goat horn.
Yeah, I mean that's totally my aesthetic. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so after a few hours of this, I was at least able to consistently get to the point where I could get to like the second phase of the Margit fight, and once those attacks came out and they're like literally instantly killing me, I was like, something is not right here. Like I must be missing something. And by that point, I had kind of made the connection with the runes, so it's like, okay, so what I need to do is I need to be going out and killing things and collecting runes. And so what then the rest of my game time has been like running around very slowly trying to level up my character. I'm not even at the point where I have like the base stats of like another class yet. Trying to like level up my character and find bits and pieces. And also at the same time, I've just not found any of the cool interests. Like I was like, David, I don't understand why people think the exploration in this game is so cool. There's just nothing going on, because all I've been finding is just like flowers and the same few enemy types and stuff. And I've gone around like the entire starting area. I've gone down to the south. I found the castle, to be fair, but I couldn't. I felt like I couldn't do anything because the enemies were too hard, so I left it. And then David like gave me this list of like all these cool things that are around. I'm like, I haven't found any of these. Like, where are these things? So essentially, my playtime so far has been 8 hours of like not understanding
things not working.
Yeah, with a class that's a little underleveled, and missing all of the cool stuff that is around that for whatever reason I have not run into. And so it's been like
this backstab was as good as Elden Ring. It's so finicky. Oh, anyway, continue.
And I was explaining to David how it's like, it's not like an enjoyable experience because just this is more the personality thing, right? As I'm spending time doing these other things, I can't get out of my head that the game is wanting me to go defeat Margit. That's my goal. And so doing anything else feels like I am wasting my time, even though I know I have to do it, right? Because obviously that's not just what you're supposed to do. But it ends up being like anxiety inducing and stressful because it's like I'm wasting time. I'm wasting time. I don't want to be going around collecting a bunch of flowers off the ground that I can't really use for much anything. I want to be leveling up, but it's hard to level up because I have to go back to a grace place every time I do any major form of combat because my character is low level, and so it's just like very slow and stressful. And on top of that, I haven't found like any of the cool stuff. So it's been a pretty not enjoyable experience so far.
So one thing I have. Okay, so I need to be doing better, first of all. So one thing that I've been one of the reasons I think this is, I was thinking about it, and you can tell me whether you think this is true or not. I could be completely off, but
yeah.
So we all know that you are, is this yeah, that's the longsword. Can I wield this yet? I don't remember.
I think you can two-hand it.
Ah, okay, we're gonna try that. So you are, oh yeah, two-handing makes it so you can, your strength stat is sort of the strength requirement for weapons is lower. Excuse me, lower.
It gives you your strength in multiplier. So for all the Souls games except for this one, it's 1.5. For this one, it's 2. So it doubles your strength.
Which there we go. Is this 1 or 2?
This is Dark Souls 2. This is the black sheep of the.
Yeah.
So you are. So what I've mentioned that you are extremely good in general at video games, and my analysis is you're extremely good at when there is a rule set. Your brain is good at picking out, here are the ways in which that rule set can be manipulated and used to your advantage.
Yeah.
Which is something I cannot do. I'm very unnaturally bad at that, I would say. But what I was thinking is, I feel like, and again, you can tell me if you think this is right or not, but I feel like when you get to points where the rule set is not very clearly laid out, the weakness then is that you're not really sure what to do. Do you think that's accurate, or is that completely off?
That's a very interesting thought.
What that hat by?
I'm unsure. Like, what are some other games that you'd kind of consider having like an unclear rule set of some sort?
That's difficult because I'm not sure. There's, what were you gonna say, Dylan?
I have one, but
yeah,
I think you'll find it interesting that I think this.
Yeah.
I think the first Resident Evil kind of has an unclear rule set for a lot of people.
Yeah, so that would be one that I would say no, that it makes total sense to me.
Right.
Well, I should also bring into this discussion, you're not a huge fan of, you're not a big fan of immersive sims either, right, Johnny?
I like immersive sims, but they're not like my top.
Or I might be confusing you with Evan, because Evan, I think, is the one who is always kind of bounced off of them. Maybe I'm confusing you with Evan in that regard.
I'll say this: none of them have ever grabbed me enough that I've played through the whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
But
so I guess
I've played a good handful of several of them. You know.
Yeah, when I'm talking about unclear rule sets, I guess I do mean kind of in the way of like this game hasn't explained how it works, but I also mean in the sense of like the bounds of what you can do and can't do are not clearly defined. So Resident Evil 1, those bounds are pretty clearly defined. Something like an immersive sim or something like a Souls game, they're not. So like an Elden Ring, it's not really defined where you need to go, what you need to do, what level you should be to do what sort of tactics will work and what aren't. None of that is very clearly defined. And so for me, I love the process of like just trying stuff and seeing what works. But I feel like for you when you don't know what the boundaries are, what you're working with, you're not able to manipulate those things towards success. Does that make sense?
So I'll without like giving a straight answer, because I think it's just an interesting thought to mull on. But I will say, of the things that you're talking about, Breath of the Wild has all of those same qualities, but I very much enjoyed playing through that. And I think I don't think it does, though.
Well, go ahead.
Of like kind of the, there's a ton of different ways to approach something, and there's not really a clear answer. And indeed, also there's not really a clear answer where you should and shouldn't be at any given time. I think that Breath of the Wild does have a lot of those same traits. But I think the big difference there is that there's no level walling. Because everything scales to where you are.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, to a degree, right? Like, obviously, you can't just like run into the castle. But
that's the other really interesting part. I wouldn't say I disliked Breath of the Wild, but I was sort of neutral on it. And for me, Elden Ring was like, this is everything I wish Breath of the Wild was. Whereas for you, it's the complete flip. You love Breath of the Wild. And I don't know what the difference is there. That's like...
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not sure I can totally pick out the difference either, which is why I'm surprised that Elden Ring is not like immediately clicking. Because I maybe not as much as like everyone else, but I do really like Breath of the Wild. It's one of the few Zelda games that I've been like, wow, I'm really getting super engaged with this.
Yeah, so you're usually not a Zelda guy, too.
like huge. I
Yeah.
appreciate them, but
you like
it's
Breath of
not
the Wild.
the series. Yeah, but I like Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
The sort of complaint that you had of like, man, I feel like I'm just fighting the exact same enemies over and over again. Is sort of the complaint I have with Breath of the Wild, where I really did like Breath of the Wild actually. But eventually it got to the point where like if I have to fight one more damn lizard, I'm gonna like.
So by the way, real quick, Bloodshot, thank you very much for subscribing. Appreciate that. And so do gifted sub, because now I have like double the subs I started with. So do I get all those gifted subs when they're gifted? Is that how that worked?
Because
someone gifted 5 subs.
It'll be distributed randomly.
Have I just
people who are watching?
Have I just missed? Oh wait, it means that they subbed to me. How does that work?
So somebody can gift a sub to someone else, or they can kind of gift the sub to the channel,
so
and then it'll go to somebody random.
Oh, I see. So it's the reverse of what I thought it was. So when they gift a sub to someone else, it means that that person is getting a subscription to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt with that, but
I just wanted to I wanted to say one thing. I have watched 3 people, or I've introduced 3 people to Resident Evil 1 remake. Eric was one of those people. You want to know what happened to Eric the only time I've introduced that game?
I would love to know, because I'm sure it's something hilarious.
It is incredibly funny. So we started that game. He immediately turns around.
Oh no!
And tries to leave the manor. And it's the dog enters the room and immediately eats his face off, kills him. Good. And he's like, "Okay, actually, I don't want to play this anymore."
It's amazing.
That's great.
So, 2 interesting notes on this, Dylan. Quick aside, you probably already know this. Resident Evil 1 is one of the games that I admire most.
The remake, specifically.
I absolutely, definitely know. I mean, like, even if I didn't know that specifically about you, because I think it's
yes, right.
Yeah, with
all
MFN.
3 of us, it's like one of our favorite games. But even like you can see it all over like My Friendly Neighborhood and all that.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. But in terms of the enemy variety thing, so the difference to me, and I will say, Breath of the Wild, the enemies are pretty repetitive. The big difference to me between that and Elden Ring repetition is in Elden Ring, you are almost incentivized to attack the enemies in the same way, because there is a best way to go about it with your current gear. Whereas in Breath of the Wild, there's a lot of different ways that you can attack enemies with a fairly similar result, you know?
I kind of don't feel that way. I think early on that might be
it depends on the enemies a lot.
Yeah, that might be a sort of misdemeanor. I think that's sort of an incorrect assumption if you do it early on in the game when you don't have a lot of tool sets. But as you sort of the further along you go, there's a very clear weakness that each enemy has that actually makes them easy. Like some enemies, like the golems that live inside the caverns that attack you. If you hit them with a blunt weapon, they will always pretty much stagger.
Right.
And if you hit them with like a crystal,
if
you hit them with a crystal knife, it actually scrambles their brain and makes them attack each other. So you don't even have to fight them anymore.
I guess that's kind of exactly what I'm saying. There is a definite best practice for a lot of the enemies, even down to like the basic sword guys or the spear guys with the shield, the low level ones. It's by far quickest to just block, parry, and hit them. It'll kill all of them within.
When
like
you say parry,
seconds.
you mean counterattack, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I mean.
That's what I figured.
And although it's fun to kind of figure out the strategy in the first place, once I figured that out, to me, and this is getting back to the personal thing, to me, it's like, well, I already know how to do that. I don't want to do it again now. I want something that I don't know how to do.
Gotcha. Which does show up, but I could see that. I could see that being the case in He doesn't stagger when I do that.
So why is that different if okay, why is that different than, oh, I'm fighting another camp of lizards and I'm gonna hit them in the face like 2 or 3 times and they die?
Yeah, so I'll agree that I do agree that Breath of the Wild has kind of an enemy problem in terms of repetition. But I feel like it's less of a problem because it's not just, oh, I can go in and hit them. I can also blow them up. There's environmental interactions that I can do. I've got different powers. The different weapons that I have, I switch out. Remember, I'm coming from a place of having literally one sword in Elden Ring right now.
Well, club, right? You have a sword now, but it was
now I have a sword. Yeah. So my experience has been, okay, I have this one sword. I need to figure out like how to utilize this against every single enemy that I come across in the most effective way. Versus in Breath of the Wild, you've just got a ton of tools from the start, and you know how to approach enemies is just kind of up to you. Now I'll agree, generally headshot with a bow is best for like all of the enemies, and you do learn that eventually in Breath of the Wild, but at least there are other things that feel like they're almost equally as effective, like for instance flurry rushing. You know, that's something that I learned to do, pairing with the shield. And I just haven't found anything like that in Elden Ring where it's like, this is like an equatably effective strategy for many different enemies that I can utilize. It's usually like I figure out the one trick per enemy type, and then I just use that whenever I see them.
Yeah, I think that is the case. Like I could see that being the case at the start.
Yeah, this totally might change.
It's less the case later on. Sometimes you wish it was the case later on.
Yeah, because this is all from the perspective of first area limited equipment, you know. So I totally understand that might be different later in the game.
Well, also you didn't encounter any catacombs or like mines or anything like that, right?
I didn't. I only found one hole in the ground in the gate area.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I've gone like literally around the entire area that I can go. I just haven't found any of them. I don't know what I'm missing.
Yeah, that's super weird because a lot of them are pretty easy to find.
You can also look on the map and see places like that are like, oh, there's a hole there. I can. Actually, yeah, that's not all of them, but it's some.
Are you playing offline?
I am playing online.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But I am playing on the Steam Deck, so the screen is small. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that changes things, but.
It shouldn't immensely, but that is probably the only downside to playing Elden Ring on the Steam Deck, is that it doesn't have any HUD scaling like Dark Souls, which it should. I don't know why it doesn't, but
you know what? I bet you'd like, out of all the games that they've made, I bet you would like Sekiro the most.
That's what I've been thinking, but I haven't played it for myself, so I can't. Yeah. But like. It's
because that one doesn't have a leveling system really,
and it's entirely skill based.
Yeah, I really think that at the core of it, the thing that doesn't jive is the leveling system.
Yeah,
I think that when
was that just like a crossbow mesh that appeared at the top of the?
Yeah, I think so. Should have read that note.
Oh, I should have read the note. You're right. I'm running on autopilot now, and that is why you play online, because then you see messages like that and then you don't die like I just did.
Yeah. Yeah, because when it comes down to it, this is the personality thing again. My instinct is to beat my head against something until I've gotten good enough at it to be able to defeat it, not to just go off and spend time grinding enemies to level up.
Oh,
you know,
Dang it.
That's the part that feels like, no, I'm wasting my time. I've got other things to do, you know, and that's when it starts to get like stressful to do it.
Well, the good news is you don't actually have to grind other enemies. It's more of a, if you hit a wall somewhere, you can go somewhere else and make other progress, and then come back later.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, I actually think, I'd have to check this out, but I think Margit is actually entirely optional.
I was trying to remember if that's the case. I think it's either Margaret or Godric that are optional, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean Godric is entirely optional for sure because you just need
is he? Okay.
you just need 2 runes and it can be any of the 2 runes.
Oh, okay. Okay, right.
So I don't believe I can get up onto like the castle wall area until I defeat Margit.
There's
So
another way.
There is actually another way around the
Yes,
castle.
it's just super not obvious because it's a FromSoft game.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the new player experience is intended that I think most people end up doing Limgrave and then end up going south to
Weeping Peninsula.
Yeah, Weeping Peninsula, and then they come back and do Margit, and by then you're probably about like level 20, 30.
Yeah, I think I'm level like 23 right now, if I remember correctly.
But you've got some stat problems, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely
Yeah.
like Margit is gonna kick your ass if you don't have enough vigor, for sure.
Yeah, I looked up just to like get an idea of like where I'm actually at. I looked up a walkthrough of somebody that knows what they're doing, and they've got about double the health and attack when they actually go and fight Margit.
Yeah, it is entire like obviously you know that people do like SL1 runs.
Yeah.
Or you know they'll you know
You can do it, yeah. You can
I
beat
beat the game with Morse code, like
or like you can
shit
beat
like that,
Margit with no damage. But
those are people who know like the move sets of every enemy in the fucking game,
or know to get pyromancy
and
in the case of Dark Souls
or no
1.
pyromancy.
Yeah. Like, SL1 run. That must be really hard. Get pyromancy. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess where I'm at with it is I definitely want to give the game like a proper shot and get to a point where I feel like I kind of understand what the intended flow is, at least, because at that point, if it's still not like enjoyable, okay, at least I got the experience that the game was intending to give. I don't think I'm at that point yet. Nothing seems to like flow together yet, and that kind of makes me think that I'm really misunderstanding something. Like the fact I haven't found any of the catacombs. That seems pretty obvious, you know?
There's there are some that are obvious. There are some that are extremely well hidden. It kind of bucks the trend in the sense that it's not like a Bethesda game or Breath of the Wild where it's like, oh, here's the optional dungeon. I can see it from a mile away or whatever. It's well, there was the one person that like beat the game 6 times and then found a catacomb they'd never seen before.
yeah, that totally happens. You'll be like, huh, I don't think I checked behind that rock, and it's like, what the fuck? There's like a door here, like.
Yeah. And then it's not even a throwaway level. It's like a
it's like an hour of time.
Yeah. Also, this isn't supposed to be a criticism, but I feel like when you get thwarted by a game, to you that usually feels like bad design. Understand, I don't mean when you fail.
Yeah.
I don't mean when you fail, but if the game is intentionally like, screw you, I am going to, like the crossbow trap that I just encountered, things like that, or situations where it's like, this knowledge that you wouldn't have known to get can help you in this area, or things like that. That's really not a fun time for you.
There's a cap, right? Like to some degree, it's like, yeah, I can respect that. But then there is a point at which, it's something that ends up just being like angering, like my time is being taken for the fool, as it were, instead of like something enjoyable. And that's something that I don't enjoy as much. And I know that that's like a pretty big part of the FromSoft
that's kind of the
design,
personality difference that I feel like is like, you may just not click with these sort of games,
right?
Because it's not even a matter of if you have the patience for that. It's a matter of, is this fun for you?
Right. Yeah. I actually I kind of like. But this is kind of that.
I love when the game does stupid bullshit.
But here's the thing though, because it's interesting. Because again, I'm thinking from the perspective of like Johnny really likes survival horror games, and I feel like survival horror games kind of do this kind of shit too, where it's like you run the risk in a survival horror game of like, oh, I fucked up all these encounters and died and wasted all this like time, and that's actually been kind of a difficult thing to get my friends into it. Like the whole, my time gets wasted, or they don't quite understand that like, oh, I'm not supposed to fight every enemy. I need to save my ammo. That's not really like a thing that like I feel like I was told I was supposed to do.
Well, I suspect there are big differences that those are like in a survival horror game like RE1 or like MFN for that matter. Those are the unknown is sort of something you can plan for, and when you fail,
that's exactly it.
So it's like it's a skill check in a way where it's like this is a test of how much were you risk mitigating and how much were you kind of planning ahead of what could happen. Whereas with Souls games, there are points where the game just screws you over, and it's not necessarily a fair death. And I think that I
don't think
you don't think so.
Because I think there's a lot of times where you can sort of. Sorry, I interrupted you. You should. Yeah.
Well,
you should.
There are for sure elements like things you can plan around, but there are also times where like you go onto the bridge and the Hellkite Drake sets it on fire and you die instantly, or like you. I mean, I guess I could have read that note in front of the crossbow trap, and that was like, so in that sense, it is punishing me for not being vigilant. But I think there are definitely a lot of situations in these sort of games where it's not necessarily you're dying because you didn't plan ahead and you weren't vigilant. Sometimes you're just dying because the game wants you to die. And if that feels like a betrayal of trust, I think it's going to be really hard to enjoy the game.
The thing is, like, betrayal of trust is exactly the term I'd use. It doesn't feel like, oh man, these designers really know what I'm going to do. It feels like, hey, I'm using my life to experience this game, and you're kind of like rubbing it in my face. Like it doesn't feel good to me,
I see it as like. For me, it feels like a John Romero trap. It feels like an ambush, and I like that aspect of it because it feels sort of, one, it feels sort of cheeky, and two, I can plan around it because I know it's coming. Like the chess thing, like the trap, I know eventually you run into enough traps in this game that you're like, I bet this fucking chest is trapped. So you can do things like, oh, I'm gonna like open it and then dodge away. And the moment when the trap actually appears, it's like, yep, I fucking knew it. You piece of shit. I got you. I've got your number.
I think
that's the way I sort of approach like even the level design. Like a lot of people are like, man, that enemy fucking came out of nowhere and killed me. And it's like, well, for me, the first time I go through these like levels, I'm like shield up, look side to side, and if I see that enemy, I'm like, I fucking know you're there, and like I'll sling a bomb across the corner.
I think what Johnny is saying is super valid in the sense that like I think it's very fair to get that feeling from the games, but I also do want to point out that FromSoft and Miyazaki they don't like talk about stuff a ton, but when Miyazaki talks about the difficulty in the games, he's not talking about like, yeah, I think we're trying to like make players angry and it's supposed to be like a test of their skill and patience. He's like, yeah, I do this because this is what I would find fun and gratifying. He's like, I love dying in games. It's so fun. So it isn't necessarily the game betraying you as much as, or it's not. I don't think the game okay, I'm gonna run away from this. I hope. No, it's a different trap.
It's different that time.
Yeah. It's more like it's more supposed to be for your entertainment. But I think there is a very key problem here. Not a problem, but it's like there's a key difference in in the enjoyment here, because for, like Dylan was saying, it's like a John Romero trap. Dylan and I also both really liked Sigil and Sigil 2, which are the John Romero map sets he did recently, and they are full of John Romero traps. Yeah. So like for Dylan and I, there is an immense element of fun to that. To like stuff not being able to predict everything and not knowing what's going to happen and being the butt of the joke of things. But I think it's also very valid if that isn't fun to be like, that's not fun for me. That doesn't feel good. And ultimately you are spending your time playing the game. And if it's not something that is fun and satisfying to you, absolutely, there's no reason why you should put your time into it.
I think someone described it on Twitter at some point that I thought was funny, is you'd only enjoy these games if you thought like the concept of a skeleton like kicking you off a cliff to your death is funny.
Yes.
And if you come at it of like, man, that just feels like I had a bunch of time wasted and I feel bad about it, then yeah, it's totally understandable why these games wouldn't really be your thing.
Yeah,
I'm even going to go out on a limb and say all of that would be perfectly fine to me if I knew deep in my heart that I had the tools to actually overcome the obstacle. But because there is a question of whether it's like, well, is this just that the game is difficult or doesn't give me all the information, or is this because I need to go out and kill a bunch of enemies so that I have a higher level? That's when the mental thing breaks.
Well, I will clarify that there shouldn't ever be a point in Elden Ring where you have to grind.
Right. like I said, all of these games are beatable at level 1 without leveling.
Well, also,
you just have to know what.
I mean, you also
know what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, though. At some point, it takes more time to learn everything that you'd have to do to beat it at level 1 than to just go out and kill a bunch of enemies so that you have higher DPS. Yeah.
The leveling thing is like it's a mistake affordance, basically.
But what I mean is that this is the reason that I think this is one of the reasons that Elden Ring does click for a lot of people. If you go in another direction, at just about any point, you can find other progress to make, and that progress will prepare you to come back later and face the obstacle. At almost every point. And that's a big difference between Elden Ring and Souls. And actually, what you're in Sekiro, and everything you say, I agree with Dylan. It sounds like what I've heard is the big appeal of Sekiro, where all of those questions are basically taken out, and it's a game of like, if you are stuck here, you need to get. Oh, jeez.
I think you might be dead.
No, I'm gonna use a homeward bone, but first I want to watch all of this.
There's a way to. I think you drop down to the right.
Yeah, I want to watch all. There they go. Oh, that's such a good feature. I don't know why they didn't keep that. It's so funny to be able to activate all the bloodstains at once.
I know, that's so freaking funny. So they're all running off to the left. So yeah, you go off to the right.
There we go. Pointless. Anyway, sorry. But I maybe like even Souls, like Dark Souls 3 or something like that would click better, where there isn't a question of like, where should I be going, or oh no,
torch, David.
Hold on.
They don't like the light.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, it's been too long since the last stream. Where do I can't light it on there.
Can you not jump?
No.
You have
guess which game added jump? It was Elden Ring.
No. It was Sekiro.
Was that before Elden Ring? That was before Elden Ring. I'm an idiot. It was
Sekiro added the manual jump.
Yeah.
You can use the fire pot, or you could drop down to there too.
Wait, the fire pot?
It's called fire butterfly.
Oh, the butterflies. Yeah, I still don't know if that's a resource I should be saving or not. But they are afraid of light, so maybe I will. Maybe I will do that. I have a lot of souls here.
So you could also just. Well,
yeah.
Did you use the lever up above? I couldn't tell.
No, I didn't. I have no shortcut or anything here. So I think.
Well, this.
Oh, I only have one S discharge left.
You could drop down and kill that dude.
Here, I'm gonna be betrayed by the plunge attack. Oh, hey.
Oh my god, the plunge attack
It
worked.
actually worked.
Wow.
It fucking worked.
Okay, I'm not opening that door. Oh, there's a torch. Anyway, sorry to... Oh, no!
Oh yeah, no problem.
What is this?
I forgot this dude is here.
One final slightly interesting fact. So I've also played a bit of Neo, because that's one of Evan's
me
big
too.
fun games. And that game is not nearly as punishing in a lot of ways. Like, it's a lot more straightforward. And yet, I still was just like, every time I played, I just had this feeling of like stubbornness. Like, it's like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, no!
Oh no!
No!
So, yeah,
that was due to
maybe
hubris.
maybe the format just doesn't work for me. I don't know.
It could be, and I think that's completely valid.
Personally, I actually found Neo harder than these fucking games. God, Neo gets real hard.
The great thing about Souls is
an hour and a half, so maybe I didn't get there. Yeah.
The great thing about especially Dark Souls 1 is that it's not actually hard. The only difficulty is in your own ignorance. So it's like you can learn your way to not having to get good in Dark Souls. It's great.
That's the kind of thing of like why Souls.
Okay, we're gonna
clones,
do this carefully.
The Souls clones typically I don't enjoy them as much because I guess there's a degree of I've played enough of these games to sort of they aren't hard to me anymore. They're like usually when I die it's because I was too greedy. My hubris got the best of me and I you know wasn't thinking and did something stupid. But I found like something like Neo actually was really challenging for me because it's like I'm juggling all these mechanics and all these like combos and the different like weapon stances, and I mean like I enjoyed that game, but my god, some of those later bosses like fucking kicked my ass up and down.
Did you actually find that you changed stances dynamically? Because it felt to me like there was a couple stances I felt were just straight up better. I don't know if that's true or not.
No, like some bosses are like, oh, you don't do any damage to them unless you're in low stance.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's all about like the poise break damage and like the type of attacks that you do. Because you know some bosses are like, oh, you know they're really weak to the head or they're really weak to the ankles, and you want to attack with like the specific move set for that stance.
We both did you see that? He shot his arrow into I love this game. It is
where it's like when I play these games it's like, oh, you know, I'll roll a mage, get like the laser blast attack, and it's like, oh, this is a hard boss, cast laser like
just
blast and blow them to the neck. Just one shot them.
Discombobulates. Yeah. Anyway, I thought it would be really interesting to talk that over just because there's, very different personalities and perspectives on, well, Elden Ring and also this sort of game in general.
Yeah.
And ultimately, for me, it's like, I think it's completely valid to be like, this just is not fun for me.
Oh, yeah. Like, I wouldn't force my friends that don't like these games to like play it. Like,
what about Eric though? You're forcing Eric to play. I forget. Wait, does Eric like Souls? Eric doesn't like Souls. Oh, does he?
No, he loves them. Yeah.
Okay, I'm confusing it. It would be very funny to make him play a game that he doesn't like.
I actually remember when Dark Souls 1 came out, and we actually got it, and we played through Undeadburg together.
Oh, nice.
So, this was like back when before like anyone kind of knew like how to fucking play these games. We sucked so hard. We we would die over and over again to the same like group of hollows.
Yeah,
and just like why the fuck can't we get this? Like how are we supposed to do this? It's impossible. And then like eventually like it started clicking. Like, oh, we're supposed to like not get hit in the face and wait for them to whip their swing and then hit them. And
it's really nuts how much of a like even just a few years back before I did the playthrough of Dark Souls and everything, I did like an hour or two trying to play Dark Souls again. This is like before the stream we did and stuff, and I got stuck in Undeadburg and I was at the point where I couldn't even use my weapon because it had broken, and I wasn't sure. Yeah, like I had died enough times that my weapon broke, and I didn't know how to get it repaired. Like, which is an unfathomable level of not being able to play the game to me now, because like it's Undeadburg. It's like it's super easy, but it's interesting to think about how much of that is a learned skill that is pretty unique to Souls games. And that's why I've said before, I think there's an element of it's like no matter how experienced you are with games, everyone is new when you come into like Dark Souls 1, because it's just so different from everything else. And a lot of that is like skills that if you've played the Souls games a lot, you forget that these are things that everyone else has to learn.
Yeah, I think a lot of people enter these games thinking that they're gonna be a hack and slash because they kind of read like they're supposed to be a hack and slash.
Yeah.
And then it's like when you start button smashing and the enemies just start like stun locking you, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Yeah.
it's my turn.
And it's funny because that's actually why I avoided them for a long time, like back when I was younger, because I thought they were just super hard hack and slash games. And then a friend finally like broke me down and convinced me to try Prepare to Die Edition. And I started it up and I was like, wait, this combat is like slow and methodical and deliberate. This is cool.
Yeah. You know, Alex hated these games until Elden Ring, and she was kind of bouncing off Elden Ring too. And I was like, no, don't think of this as like a hack and slash. Think of it as like a weird fantasy survival horror. Like, read the opponents, walk slowly, wait for ambushes, and then like take your turn when it's safe. And then it clicked for her, and then she beat Elden Ring, and I was like, you go, girl, I knew you could fucking do it.
Yeah. Also, credit to Elden Ring for inventing the idea of lock-on working in like from
God, dude, the lock-on in this game is so cancer.
It's so annoying. Like, I can
It's
see
funny
him.
you say that, because like I'm constantly having to lock on, like, not target the enemy that I want and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
is
that's
it even worse here?
You have
that
no
totally
idea.
That totally happens in Elden Ring, but in this game,
It's much.
It's like a war just trying to get the lock on to
Yeah.
the one enemy on your screen.
So if you see my camera snapping around weirdly, that's because
you tried
I'm
to lock on.
Yeah, I'm trying to lock on, but I am not within the, like, I don't know, several meter radius you have to be to lock onto an enemy. Okay, so
Wait, so when did Dark Souls 2 come out?
they were working on it at the same time as Bloodborne, so I think it's 2014. Okay, yeah.
yeah.
And it's so weird. Like this, I don't know if I think this is its own separate engine that they never used for any of their other games again. They made
Weird.
like Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, and Elden Ring, and Sekiro all use a different engine. This game has its own sort of engine, and they were like, this is such a garbage fire. We're not using this engine again after this.
Wow. Hey, I've got to hop off.
Yeah.
My poor wife has been waiting for almost an hour now to eat.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no.
Well, thank you
Thank
for
you so
coming
much for
on. That was a
jumping.
very
Yeah.
interesting
No.
discussion.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I hope that people have been saying in chat, like, maybe you should just restart. If you still wanted to give it a go, maybe you should just restart with a different character.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Yeah, I might do that. I do
Yeah.
want I am going to keep giving it a go. I'm going to at least get past Market. I've made a decision that I cannot quit the game until I do that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, you can always just use like Ashes of War, summon the sorcerer, find Market Shackle, like do all that,
Patches
and then the
sells
fight
the
is super
shackle.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't have found patches yet either because you didn't find
Any
any
fucking
caves.
catacombs or caves. Yeah,
sad.
there's like by the lake there's a cave that actually has all the mining equipment in it, and you can like upgrade your weapons.
You can mine?
Not
yeah,
quite.
you don't mind, like you like take the ores from the miners.
Oh,
Yeah.
Basically,
okay. Yeah,
you fucking you fucking just like take all their shit while they're mining.
Or after they're dead. But yeah, we will let you go tell Emma we're sorry to delay her eating.
That's okay. Yeah, good to talk with you guys.
Yep. See
Yeah,
ya.
for sure.
Yeah, see ya.
That's I keep pressing this. Oh, that's okay. It's block. I'm used to holding that to raise torches in Elden Ring. Yeah, the Wretches Club is rough. I actually started
Is that like a specific weapon, like the Wretches Club, or is it just like the club? Because the club is a good weapon, but you kind of have to get used to it.
Oh no! No! There's so many souls at stake! No!
Oh my god!
Oh, that was so close. Okay, I need to actually like concentrate on this and do good instead of not doing good. And sorry to everyone in chat I've been ignoring because I'm trying to not die. And I'll mention him. He should at least see Soifra, is that how you pronounce it? Which is
I actually don't know how to pronounce. I've always called it like Sofra River, and I'm pretty sure that's wrong.
Just a incredibly cool area.
Oh, there's the lever. Don't go down. Don't go down.
Okay. Oh, right. I'm so used to looking for actual like Miyazaki levers, not normal person
this game
levers.
is so cursed.
It's so cursed in such a funny way. Oh, it rings a bell.
Yeah, look what happens.
Okay.
It's really cool.
Is this going to be the ship?
You're actually missing it.
Oh no, where? Oh, it's over here. Oh, we have a ghost ship! I was really hoping that the ship was going to be gameplay space. Wait, is this going to crash?
No.
Okay. So I really want to get those souls back, because there were a lot of them. Is it awesome early game? I switched the club out, because I started my Elden Ring preparing for the DLC playthrough with Wretch, and I mean, I don't have any problems with it, because I'm used to Elden Ring. I switched to the sword as soon as possible.
Clubs are one of those weapons where they don't seem like very good weapons unless you become really good at the game, and then they become monstrously overpowered.
Gotcha. Is it because do they have really good poise damage or something like that?
They have low stat requirements. The moveset is actually pretty good if you know the spacing very well, and they have both really quick and really hard hitting attacks.
Okay.
Like for speedrunners, the club is like
thing is not lit. It's not lit. This was a bad idea.
I was like, why are you going in there? This is a death trap.
Because in my brain, I still had a torch, even though I very obviously do not have a torch. Oh, jeez. This is gonna be so much pain when I like die before I get these souls.
This is like 5 levels worth of souls.
I know. So I think actually this has been doing pretty well, as long as I'm just careful with spacing. Yeah, we're gonna try a Unga Bunga club build with Rachel whenever we play that again.
Amazing.
Embrace caveman. The good thing is
some of these enemies have despawned.
Yeah. Wow, that staggered me pretty aggressively.
Yeah, because it hit you in the head.
Oh, okay. There. I think I'll still take this guy. I'm just gonna take everything out on my way there, because I think that's gonna be safer than trying to run. He's dead. Okay.
Yeah, he's gone for good.
Right, I was gonna... Oh, no! The spacing is getting me. Yeah, so I've started another playthrough. Well, not another playthrough. I've started Resident Evil 4 Remake again, because I never finished it.
Right.
Which was just for life reasons. It wasn't like the game. I was really enjoying it. And
you were going through a lot when that game came out.
I was, yeah. And wow, that game is good. It's so cool that we have 2 different versions of Resident Evil 4, both of which are phenomenal. Like,
remember, this is a gank area.
This is a gank area, you're right. Okay, no, I haven't eliminated any of the gank.
Yeah, just make sure you're giving enough space.
Yeah.
Watch, don't roll in the water.
Yeah.
This is like a golf swing. You have like 40 things to think about all at once.
Yeah, you're right. There we go. Honestly, this sort of gameplay is my preference, where it's like I hit very hard, but I have to be very, very careful of spacing. I love that in these games.
That's why great swords are my favorite weapon types.
Yeah, same.
In these games too.
Let's see, have you already watched? No, I'm not really a show person. I don't really watch a lot of shows. So I'm probably not going to watch the Fallout TV show. I've heard it's good. I'm just not overly interested in it, and like I said, I just don't have the time to watch a lot of shows. So usually things I watch are going to be like must-see things, like the Chernobyl miniseries, or like I don't know, Ash vs. Evil Dead, things like that. There's the backstab.
Same Zoot. Like,
yeah.
Every time I'm like, I'm gonna make a different character, and it's like 20 hours later, I'm using a greatsword.
Yep.
Somehow, greatsword has returned.
Yeah, somehow greatsword returned. Yeah, Dylan, have you watched the Fallout show?
Yeah. Allie and I finished it. It's good. We enjoyed it.
It's awesome how it completely negates New Vegas. I've heard about that drama. I haven't actually seen any of it.
It doesn't, but it's just I can't even go. Like the Fallout. I don't think anyone hates Fallout more than Fallout fans.
I know, right? Yeah. I really like the first Fallout game, like Fallout 1. I really like that game. I think its vibe and everything is just perfect. And then basically everything after that, I'm sort of like, it's okay, yeah. Like, even New Vegas, like the meme is funny, but I really don't have strong feelings about New Vegas. I thought it was like, it's okay. It's not quite as explory as I wanted, but it's okay. It's good. Good, like, role-playing and stuff. I feel like you're supposed to have really strong feelings about either Bethesda's Fallouts or New Vegas and the originals. And for me, it's like, I honestly, and like, for me, nothing captured the same magic as the first game, and that was decades ago. So at this point, I'm just like, yeah, they're all fun. They're fun.
Yeah, I pretty much, I really like Fallout 1 as well. I also, maybe because it was, I played it on release, I really like Fallout 3 as well.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, I'm sorry, everyone. The green filter is we live with the green filter.
I love the green filter. I think it's great, but I also love the Starfield, like, desaturated color correcting.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of enjoyed all the Fallout games that I've played. Like,
yeah, same.
I really liked New Vegas. You know, I even enjoyed my time. I really enjoyed my time with Fallout 4 once I started playing survival mode. Once they came out with survival mode, I was
survival
like,
mode is so good. It's like legitimately so good. I really wish that they designed the games around that.
Yeah, and yes, Fallout 4's story is trash. I mean,
it is.
The RPG elements, like the speech and all that, are trash. But you know, you kind of have to find your own fun with some of those games. Yeah, Fallout 1's definitely the best.
Yeah, and like I said, for people that no. For people who haven't or who aren't in on the joke, like the bit I have with New Vegas, the only problem I have with that game is the fan base. The game itself, it's really good at what it does. I have no problem with it. I enjoyed what I played of it. I just enjoyed the sort of freeform exploration in Fallout 3 and 4 a little more. The thing I hate is how the fan base takes it, and it's like, you are not allowed to like anything that isn't New Vegas. This was the absolute peak of everything Fallout, and is perfect in every way. And if you like Fallout 3, that means that you are an idiot, and you have no media literacy, you don't know what good role-playing games are. It's just so hyperbolized and stupid. So gotta go down there.
Yeah, I like New Vegas too, but I kind of rarely talk about it because I really don't like the fan base.
Fallout 4. So why do people hate Fallout 4 so much? I get that it's like, it isn't a great role-playing game and the main story is bad, but I don't understand why anyone expected any different. Like, it's really good at the stuff you would expect from a Bethesda game. So I'm always confused why people hate it so much. It's like, it's a good Bethesda game. If you like those games, it's really fun.
It kind of has a lot of the same problems that like Skyrim has, but people still love Skyrim.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like, no one is going this hard on like Skyrim or Oblivion.
Your souls are in that building.
Yeah.
Make sure you light your torch.
Oh yeah, that's right. Right, but I guess, why would you play it expecting a role-playing game? Like, I feel like this is an expectation people created just so they could be mad. Because Bethesda games haven't been good role-playing games for, like, decades. Like, heck, even I love Morrowind, but there's a ton to critique about Morrowind as a role-playing game. Like, Bethesda's never really made hardcore, like, really hardcore CRPGs. They've always made these sort of interesting, explory RPG first-person hybrids.
I'm actually amazed you got these souls back.
I am too. I'm thinking I'm gonna homeward bone.
I think you're close to the shortcut out of here, but I'm also scared too. Yeah,
I'm not gonna risk it.
Sure.
Quick. No. Use.
What are you getting hit by?
Someone's firing arrows at me from somewhere. Yeah, I guess it's to me, I guess it's like I wouldn't play a Call of Duty game and be like, wow, this sucks that it isn't like a retro FPS. Like, I know I'm not going to enjoy that format, so I don't go into them expecting something that they're not going to be.
I would be shocked, Madman Epic, I would be shocked if 90% of the people into Fallout actually started with Fallout 1.
No,
at this point.
The people who are really loud, like,
David, do you want to go spend those souls?
That is what I was going to do, yes. The people who are really loud about Fallout, I am pretty certain, first, never played the originals, and second, probably know most of what's supposed to be good about Fallout from YouTube essays about New Vegas.
Oh, Christ. Not the YouTuber thing again.
We're back to the YouTubers.
See, I can totally understand. New Vegas does have better dialogue and a better story, 100%.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt in my mind.
And better role playing. Like, it's because it's trying to be more of like a role playing game, and then consequently it also has really not very good exploration or world design. So.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it's definitely it kind of there's definitely things about New Vegas that haven't aged as well, and mostly because of the engine and the systems that it kind of has built on it.
Oh my gosh, this is so many souls.
Much of the same way that Fallout 3 is kind of aged harshly.
Yeah, I was gonna keep putting some into strength to see if. I think that would let me use the Great Sword. Let's see. I still have a bunch more I can put in. Let's Should I put more into adaptability?
I actually haven't played 76. Dave really loves 76.
Dave loves it. I played a bit of it and didn't quite understand it, and I haven't been. It also ran really poorly for me for some reason.
Oh, that's weird.
So endurance and let's just get all these to 15. Well, then I'm out.
Okay, so I've seen this, like, you know, New Vegas has better writing, so thus it's aged better. But I still think both Fallout 3 and New Vegas have a lot of combat in them, and they both still kind of like I still play Fallout 3, and you know, everything, all the guns feel like absolute dog water.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But you know, it's you know, it's like whatever, it's serviceable.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that I really liked Fallout 4 when I first played it, is because shooting stuff was actually fun, which was kind of a first for any of the newer Fallout games. Well, older too. Like the combat in Fallout 1 and 2 is kind of not as good as it should have been, to be honest.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of times where
let's take that.
Like Fallout 1, where it's like, oh, I don't want to have to fucking fight another rad scorpion in the desert. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Let's take. But yeah, I think if you like the, I mean, it's the Bethesda loop now. Like, we all kind of know what these games are. Like, you explore, you find a place, you clear out the dungeon, you get the loot, you go back to town, you sell it. And I think if you're gonna do that, Fallout 4 and I guess 76, from what I hear people say, is a perfectly enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
And quite fun if you're playing it with, like, you know, survival mode and mods and shit like that. But yeah, if you're coming into it with, like, I want a RPG experience, then I don't even know why you're looking at a Bethesda game.
Although I will defend Fallout 3 and 4 a little bit and say that I'm so close to having enough souls. People, I think, sort of undersell the side quests, because some of the side quests are very good.
Oh, great! Really funny.
Yeah, their main quests are garbage, but
yeah,
I don't.
They're garbage. But even stuff like the even in Fallout 4, I like some of the side quests. Like, I thought the Deathclaw Museum was, like, super funny.
Yeah, or the what is that, Silver Shroud? I always remember as being really memorable and fun.
Yeah, Silver Shroud is great. I love the fishery cannery. That's just like, oh, they're turning ghouls into, like, meat, or, like, you know, they're selling people meat because it's so. Yeah, of course they are. New Vegas had a bunch of really fun side quests.
Yeah, like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Fallout 3 had a bunch of really fun side quests.
Yeah, they're all good. They're all good in different ways. Like I said, the only problem I have with New Vegas is how vehemently people insist you have to worship the ground it walks on, and you have to hate everything Bethesda's ever done with the series. Yeah. Like, it's just video games. It doesn't matter that much. Should I take this up more? Sorry, what were you gonna say, Dylan?
So, like I said, I played New Vegas on release, and, you know, had a good time. The dialogue around New Vegas when it came out versus now, the difference is insane.
It is. Yeah.
I can't impress onto people how much harsher people were to New Vegas when it came out, and some of the arguments that people had to kick down New Vegas compared to like Fallout 3 even. I remember I'm seeing arguments online. New Vegas has a less interesting opening because you don't have that, like, the vault moment. It's like, oh, you start off in, like, a doctor's office and you step outside and that's it. And it's like, man, that's not as cool. It's like, you know, growing up in the vault and then the vault opening and you're blinded and you see the wasteland, and there was, like, that whole element. There was the whole people don't even remember this, but people were furious about the strip being so small.
I wouldn't say I was furious, but I was pretty disappointed because I was hoping for a real, like, big neon lot. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, like people are like, oh, it's like it's all broken up with loading screens. There's only like 5 NPCs in the casino, and it's all like abandoned and everything. And yeah, it was just it's so wild having going from being a New Vegas fan and being like, oh, people are too harsh on it. Like it got 74, so like Obsidian didn't get their bonus and all that kind of all those elements of like, oh, it's still a great game, like who cares? And then now it being like, oh, actually New Vegas is perfect. It's the best video game ever created. It has no flaws. And now all the other games look like trash in comparison. And I'm just like, my God, I feel like I've like stepped out of a fucking time machine or something.
It's that, yeah, we've talked about this before with, it's the same deal as like Far Cry 2, where like I was the only Far Cry 2 fan I ever knew about for years, and then suddenly YouTube comes around and now everyone's like, ah, yes, Far Cry 2, very good, best Far Cry game. Like, where were all you guys like 10 years ago?
And it's happening to this game too, Dark Souls 2.
It like, is. I'm seeing that happen in real time now, where it's like I started into this like, oh yeah, Dark Souls 2, that's the one that everyone hates. And now it's like I'm seeing so many things where people are like, everyone says Dark Souls 2 is bad, but it's really the best one. It's gonna go in the other direction now. I can feel it. No, I didn't like it. Well, yeah, I guess I did like it before it was cool, but what you have to understand is the amount of like of hilarity people took at the fact that I liked Far Cry 2. This was not like a, oh, I knew about this underground, awesome game that no one else knows about. This was everyone knew about it and they all thought it was terrible. And the fact that I liked it was like, wow, you have really bad taste. What is wrong with you? Now it's completely changed.
God,
let's see.
Mad Men Epic, I saw like a take where someone was like, this was like a popular take. It had like 20K like likes and stuff like that, where they're like, they created the Fallout show just to spite New Vegas. Like they just wanted to like rewrite New Vegas. Todd hated like how it like overshadowed his games. They wrote it and made that show out of spite. And I'm just sitting there like, my God, people do not do this thing. They made that show to make money. Like it's not that complicated. Someone at Bethesda was like, how can we make more money today? Oh, let's make more money by making a show and selling it to Amazon. Like,
yeah. Oh, you said, I Am the Briefcase said, wait, people didn't like Far Cry 2?
Oh my God.
Dude, it was the level of like Duke Nukem Forever. That much didn't like it. This was not like that game. This was like, wow, that game is such a clusterfuck of bad design. That was the level people didn't like Far Cry 2. And this was also before Far Cry was like a big mainstream staple series. This was following up on Far Cry 1, which was like, well, it was following up on Far Cry 1 and all of the different iterations of Far Cry 1, which were successful, but they weren't like now. It wasn't like, Far Cry is a household name. So,
for the longest time.
Sorry. I'm just, it is, so it's wild to have lived through the, seeing what sort of the consensus was about the game, and then see it just completely flip. It's so wild.
For the longest time, the only people that I knew that liked Far Cry 2 were other game designers. There was just like, it was only talked about fondly in like university classes, where it was like, oh man, these mechanics are so cool from like a distance and on paper. And then like everyone didn't like actually like in playing it, but now it's like it's a total opposite. It's like, oh my God, it's like now Far Cry 2 is the only Far Cry game we talk about.
Yeah. I need to get used to the attack speed of this.
The tracking for this weapon.
Basically, it's bad.
The way you have to. So, ultras are great in this game, but you have to play them no lock on. That's the only way to play them.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I will try that. Oh, thank you very much for the subscription. Metal Gear. Yep, Metal Gear Solid had a similar reversal. I didn't. I didn't experience that one as much, but I remember it was like game magazines where we're talking. Oh yeah, that's like one of the worst sequels ever made. And then I didn't pay attention, and then years later, I still thought everyone hated. Oh, I see what you mean. Wow.
That was kind of cool though. You like flipped and hit him with like the beginning of the attack.
Yeah. Do you concur with that the Fallout 1 and 2 quest design was lacking? I didn't think so, but I'm also not like a CRPG expert. So I don't know that I would want to say. Yeah, because there are so many, especially now, there's so many really good CRPGs that have really gone hard into the elements that everyone really likes. So, and a lot of those I haven't played. So for me, it wasn't lacking, you know, when I played it at the time, years ago, but maybe compared to what's done now it is. I didn't think it was that much different than, like, New Vegas quest design, for instance.
I know you're not going to watch the Fallout show, so I will say
probably not.
I'll tell you one funny joke that they do. Like there's a whole part of the show that's like takes place in a vault, and one dude bursts in. Like there's a moment where like everything's kind of going to shit in the vault, and one dude bursts in and it's like the water chip is broken, and they never resolve it. They never bring it up again, and they never resolve it like at any point in the show.
That's awesome.
It's literally just the butt of a joke.
That's amazing. So I think there's a problem with this. First of all, I'm fat rolling. Second of all, I think for these guys, I'm actually having basically the same amount of success as with this sword, which attacks faster. So I think we'll actually stick with this for the moment. I do really want to make great swords work, because I love great swords. Or colossal. No, that's great swords in this. In Elden Ring, they were colossal swords, right?
In this, they are ultra great swords.
Ultra great swords, that's it. Or Time to Get Naked, that is true. Could do.
I don't know if there's... Because you're mostly dex now, right?
I am more dex than strength, but I have, I think, 15 strength?
Because, like, that, that's... I can see why...
Yeah, it's because of the... Suited. Yeah, because of the scaling, I imagine. Yeah. I just want to have it as an option, because I like it. Has he met the dealer?
You haven't yet.
Okay.
We have not wheeled and dealed yet.
Yeah, Far Cry 3, and that's another thing, is that when Far Cry 3 came out, the narrative was, oh my gosh, look how good this is compared to Far Cry 2. People are just fickle. People just change their opinions, or like, people collectively. Opinions just change all the time.
I bounced off 3.
Yeah, same.
And I did play some of Blood Dragon? No.
Yeah.
What is it Blood Dragon?
The 80s one? Yeah, that's Blood Dragon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, right, these guys. Can I wield this? I can't wield that one-handed. I did just up... Maybe, actually, I would be better off just having longsword out for right now.
This is kind of why I like the torch system in this game, because it's like, oh, these enemies are weak to it, but I need a hand free. Far Cry 2 is Moonlight Greatsword.
Wait. I don't think I understand what you're talking about. Oh, Dark Souls 2. Okay. I thought this was like a Far Cry, like a joke about the machete or something. The sound they make is kind of unsettling.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, got it. Oh, jeez. Am I gonna have to? Oh! Am I gonna have to jump for that? Get the torch back out? No. Okay, even double handing gets rid of the. Even two handing gets rid of the torch. Okay. Blood Dragon. Yeah, so Blood Dragon came out when like that sort of super hyper 80s nostalgia was like just starting and was new and cool. So it did go very hard into that, which was great at the time. I always felt like having that happen in a Far Cry 3 game was just a weird mix. Because you go through like the intro.
It is a weird game to do that.
Because you go through the intro and it's like, oh yeah, all these references and it's doing the like oh no, that attack. It's doing the it sounds like the Blade Runner credits, the main theme, and then it's like you get dropped off on the island, and then the next thing you do, you're like hiding behind cover and shooting lasers, and it's just weird. If that game came out in like 2020 or something, it would have totally been a Doom Eternal, like it would have been like a Doom Eternal clone, and it would have probably been awesome.
I don't imagine I'm alone in thinking this, but I think one trope I really hate from that era of games is the like, hey, we're doing the boring quest design, but it's okay because we're gonna make fun of it.
Oh jeez, don't even get. That's the other thing that I hated about Far Cry 3 was that it was very much during the like the Spec Ops era of, hey, what if we just do the thing we're complaining about and then be like, oh, hey, you know that thing that's bad? We're just gonna do that and be like, hey, this is dumb, huh? And call it satire.
Fucking Borderlands did that shit too. And I was
oh jeez,
like,
yeah.
Why don't you just make a good quest then?
Yeah, exactly. Just make it good instead of making it bad and being like, see how bad this is? You could be right, Graham, where that game magazines were trying to be entertaining rather than, and I mean that also was kind of that was sort of the heyday of Zero Punctuation, wasn't it? In like the
oh man, it is weird to think that that's no longer that just died.
Yeah, it is really weird. Oh jeez,
you're getting fucking robbed by that lamp collision. the torch collision.
Oh, I'm stamina starved because I'm playing poorly. Oh man, I always forget how ganky the gank in here is.
This is definitely one of the like certified Dark Souls 2 gank rooms. That was also kind of the heyday of Angry Video Game Nerd and Nostalgia Critic too. Around that same time. Or maybe a bit earlier, but like 2010s. You know, Angry Video Game Nerd was when did he start? Because I feel like in 2010s he was still pretty big, right? Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah. It was also like you know, JonTron did the like Daikatana video.
Yeah, and like Nostalgia Critic was huge. Like the only reason anyone cares about The Room at all was because of his review.
Yeah.
So that was very much like the culture at that point was. So that's all to say. Yeah, you might have a point there. You started in 2004. Okay, yeah. So he was still very popular in 2010. I'm not sure if it was when he was at his peak popularity, but he was still huge.
He was basically the progenitor for like so many different channels.
Yeah.
Like what would eventually become like all the like jokester channels about video games.
Yeah. It was definitely a time. Physical EG game and yeah. haven't watched Zero. Well, of course, Zero Punctuation is dead now, but I haven't watched that style of videos in a while.
Nothing is funnier. I watched Zero Punctuation time to time, but nothing is as funny as the fact that Dusk got paired up with Fortnite in a single video. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what he said about Dusk or what he said about Fortnite, just conceptually.
Yep.
Fortnite and Dusk being on the same level of like, yeah, these could be put in together in one video is just amazing.
That's so weird. I seem to remember that in his review, he was pretty negative about Dusk, and then he did he did like a extra stream of it and was like, I guess it's decent.
I think he was like, he said like your level design was like bargain bin or some shit like that.
Yeah, he wasn't a fan of the level design.
It's like, whatever.
Matrix 4. I didn't see Matrix. What did you think of Matrix 4, Dylan?
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Oh, I thought you were excited for it. Maybe
I was.
No, you were.
And then, yeah, everyone started talking about it. And this was also the pandemic, and
oh yeah,
like my headspace is not good during the pandemic.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's was, right?
Yeah, so I just never got around to watching it.
Speaking of the Matrix, YouTube randomly recommended me. What on earth just happened? What just happened?
I think you were covered in oil and then you got hit by a fire attack.
Whoa! Oh, I was covered. That's a thing?
That is a thing, yeah.
Okay.
Orbital strike. Yeah, so like you see how he's throwing oil?
Oh, okay. I see.
And then the other dude hit you with a fire arrow. That was actually brilliant on their part.
Yeah. That's awesome. What was I even so YouTube recommended me just a short thing with Michael Mann talking about the shootout in Heat. And I consider that just one of the best things ever filmed ever. It's just phenomenal. So I was like, well, I gotta watch this. So I watched it, and then of course after watching that, I'm like, well, I gotta rewatch that scene. And the girls came over and wanted to watch it also. And Lavender was like, she's 4, so she still doesn't quite know what's going on, but Lavender was like, so like, how did they do this? How is there like blood and bullet holes and stuff, but it's fake? So I was explaining all that and how like squibs work and stuff like that. And then I was like, hold on, there's another scene that we have to watch. And so I showed them the lobby shootout from The Matrix, which I also, even though I have opinions about The Matrix, the lobby shootout and the action scenes in general are also some of the greatest things ever put on film.
Yeah.
The lobby shootout especially is just so good. And Lavender was like, wow, that girl can do very good kung fu.
It's like, amazing.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Oh yeah, put on the thing.
That shootout in Heat is probably the best sounding shootout in
it's
a
so
movie,
good. Yeah.
like, ever.
It is. It just sounds like a war zone.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what the video was talking about, or one of the things it was talking about was how the post-processing sound effects didn't sound right. Or not the the post sound effects didn't sound right. And so he was like, well, just use the live audio from that day. And incredibly good decision.
Yeah, because you can tell it's like it's not a sound stage and it's not someone mixing it after the fact. Those sounds are echoing off those skyscrapers.
It sounds like news footage of like a war zone. And in addition, like that's a big part of why the scene is so good. But the other part is just, geez, the pacing,
it's great.
The shots, the build up toward the very, like there's no music. And then at the very end, that moment that starts building up again, it's so good. That scene is like one of the biggest reasons why I like that movie. Not that it's bad, but it's like without that shootout, it'd be like, oh, that was pretty good. But with it, it's like, it's yeah, just such a good scene. Anyway,
And I've driven that street too. It is not it's not that long of a street. They make that space feel huge.
Okay, yeah.
Just going down that one block just feels like such a back and forth between them, and it's so good.
That was another cool thing in the video was he said this is a fight between two protagonists. Like there's no protagonist and antagonist. It's like they're both the protagonists. Yeah, and yeah, the training, like there's the one shot of Val Kilmer reloading, which famously was actually shown at military schools as like this is the platonic ideal of a tactical reload or whatever. Okay, so what is the deal with this boat? Okay, I can get on it over there. I see. Let's head down here and see what sort of horrible things greet us. Well, there's dogs, of course. Running at like 3 frames per second. Interesting.
Oh yeah, that's the thing these games do is they reduce the frame rate of the animations the further away you are.
Desperate bid to not repeat Blighttown.
Yeah. And it's very aggressive in this game.
Yeah. Don't forget to light the torch. That's a good point. Well, I'll have to go back through there, won't I? Let's see if I... That's a lot of stuff going on over there. There's a shortcut, isn't it?
Yes.
That is 100% a shortcut. We're gonna go down there. Oh, that's a black barrel. Nope, we're just heading for the shortcut. Just going to the shortcut. Gonna heal so I don't get sniped. Oh. No, you don't!
Oh
no!
my god!
That was very close.
He almost ended you.
He almost ended. Yeah. Oh, it's just knocked down, not a lever. Yeah, Collateral has been on my must-watch list for years, and I still have not gotten around to watching it. And I know I have to. I know it's really good, but it's just like one of the... You know how you'll have something that it stays on your list of I gotta do this or watch this for so long, you just forget about it. It's like you get used to it being unwatched. Am I into Japanese culture? Not particularly. Not that I have any... I don't have any problem with Japanese culture, but I wouldn't say I'm particularly into it. But I'll definitely try Sekiro. I'm very interested in... I mean, I own it. I bought it, and I'm going to play it at some point. Ah! Okay. For some reason, I thought this was death, and I just saw my character, like, clipping its way to death.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm going to die.
Times that. Oh, it's only 2. For some reason, I thought it was really late. Okay, we got the shortcut down, and in fact, I'm going to utilize that shortcut. And go back and rest up. Might even be a good time to use a human effigy. Oh yeah, how did you like Japan, Dylan?
It was amazing. I loved it. Yeah, we had a great time.
It sounded pretty cool.
We went
Looked
to
pretty cool from what I was seeing.
We went to Tokyo, then Hakone, Kyoto, and then Osaka.
I usually find that I'm neutral on just about everything until something presents it in a way that clicks for me. Maybe that's dumb to say because it's like, well, obviously, but like I don't have a like immediate interest in Japanese culture, but I feel like playing that would be a thing where I could play something like Sekiro, and suddenly it's presented in a way where I'm like, oh, I'm really interested in this. Did you have... Oh, yeah, they're asking, did you have someone with you for, like, language barrier stuff?
Yeah, we had tour guides and stuff like that. Also, for the times that we didn't have tour guides, the friggin' translator technology now is insane.
Oh yeah,
there's you can say stuff into your phone and it will immediately translate it into the target language and say it out loud. Or
wow.
Or I could hover my camera over like a menu and it'll immediately like convert it into like English on the fly.
No! I was just gonna see if breaking the rope would do something. Dang it. Oh, 666. That's... So, I don't necessarily disagree with that sentiment, but there's kind of only the one Souls game that's like that, right? Like just Dark Souls 3? Because like 1 and 2 are more like adventure games. Demon Souls, from what I know of, is really wild in that direction. Or are you talking about like FromSoft games in general? Like counting like Elden Ring and Sekiro?
Yeah, I think Elden Ring kind of pushes... The parts of it are definitely kind of pushing back towards the puzzle side of things, but then like the last like quarter of the game is very like rhythm reflex test bosses.
I wonder how much of that for myself, I'm wondering how much of that you can get around with, like, in the way you can cheat in the way you can cheese stuff in like Margit Shackle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know Godskin Duo, of course, you can just trivialize with sleep pots. Because I really tried to do it the get good way, the last whatever, however many hours of Elden Ring. I tried to do it the like learn to dodge, blah blah blah, and eventually I just gave up. Like I started abusing Mimic Tier and stuff like that.
Yeah. For my like replay throughs, I'm just like, fuck it. Just I've already beaten the game. Just, you know, cheese the hell out of this boss.
Yeah.
But I am Carillion, and I've no interest in the magic impaired.
Okay. See ya. Well, I'll go through all of his dialogue to see if there's any.
I see light.
No, same thing. Okay. See ya.
He's just like, you are too dumb for me to care about you.
I have no interest in idiots. Okay. Physically can't play Dark Souls 3. Yeah, it'll be interesting when I get to Dark Souls 3. Because stuff I hear about it sounds less like what I enjoy in Souls games, but I guess we'll see. Other stuff, like, it looks gorgeous, for one thing.
Yeah.
Some of the areas look really cool and stuff, but yeah, where does Bloodborne fall in all that? Because I've heard people saying Bloodborne is actually much faster paced as well.
It's probably the fastest out of all of these games.
Oh yeah,
but like it's designed for.
Ah! No!
You're talking to it like it's a bad dog.
Yeah, bad enemy, bad NPC.
So like Bloodborne, like the time for healing and when you only roll in Bloodborne when you're unlocked. If you're locked, you do like a kind of a quick step. Mm-hmm. Like a little dash, I guess. Just like every mechanic. Oh.
What is happening? Wait, I had a sliver of health left. Why did I die?
That was so weird.
That was so weird.
And then like the transform attacks in Bloodborne really capitalize. Oh, and then of course the rally mechanic. So when you take damage in Bloodborne, any damage you do right after it can heal that damage you just took.
Oh, that would encourage you being very aggressive then.
Yes. So if you take a whole bunch of damage and you take the the offense immediately, you can basically undo all that damage done to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's like it's designed around the aggression.
What is he looking at?
He's gonna be looking at a sword in his face in a second.
Goodbye. I really like that there has not yet been there has been to a certain extent, but for the most part, there isn't a point where it's like, now FromSoft just has the formula and they just keep doing that. Like, all these games are trying different things for the most part. Obviously, they're sticking with some mechanics that remain consistent, but there we go.
Nice.
One.
Dark Souls 3 is
That was the
favorite one.
jankiest. That was the jankiest like lunge attack. Okay, let's try this again. I am certain that this is a boss right here. And to that end, actually, maybe we'll get out the... Where did it go? These all look the same. I should send some of these to my box. Wait, do I have a box in this? I have a box, don't I?
You do, yes.
Okay.
It's at the bonfire.
They still want to make... Yeah, so how was Armored Core? I think I asked this last... Like, that kind of came and went without much fanfare.
I thought it sold pretty well.
Did it? Okay. I guess I just didn't see a lot about it.
I mean, there's less Armored Core fans than there are Dark Souls fans. But
Yeah.
like, you know, big surprise there.
Yeah. I'm glad it sold well, because, yeah, even when it's, like, something like Armored Core, where maybe I'd like it, but I'm not, like, as interested in that. Oh, that was so dumb. I'm not as interested in that as, like, Elden Ring or something, but I'm glad that they just keep doing stuff that's different. I would prefer them making, like, a bunch of games that are all different and some of which maybe aren't exactly to my tastes than I would them, like, remaking... Like, for instance, like I've said, I don't want an Elden Ring 2. I think they basically covered everything in Elden Ring that they would need to. I'd rather they went on and did, like, I don't know, something weird and different. Mechs with Sekiro posture. If you like From Souls. I'm not a huge mech guy, which I guess makes sense, because I really like the, like, agile glass cannon sort of deal, and usually I feel like mechs are really tanky. Although, maybe I've just made that up, because I haven't actually played any, like, Armored Core or anything like that. Oh, it's a shorter game. I mean, that appeals to me. I like short games.
That's an interesting. I haven't played Armored Core 6, but man, that reminds me of like
Should I just go spend these?
Near Automata, where you have to beat the game several times over to get the story content.
No!
Oh!
I know that boat is gonna be like a boss arena, so I'm trying to clear everything out and prepare for the... Maybe it isn't gonna be a boss arena. Don't tell me. I want it to be a surprise, but... Oh, speaking of, I don't know, Japanese games, I guess. So, is it heresy to say that the way they handled the lake in Resident Evil 4 Remake is a straight-up improvement on the original game? Because, to be clear, there are things there. I think they should be taken as separate things, because I think they're both great in similar but different ways. They're both like awesome takes on the same material, but the way that they handle the lake in the remake that's one of the areas where it feels like this is doing something that the other game should have done, or is that crazy?
Oh boy,
The exploration afterward, not the fish fight. I like the fish fight in or not the fish fight, the salamander fight. I liked that better in the original, but
yeah, I was gonna say the so you mean like exploring the lake with the boat?
The exploration afterward.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
That was one of the things I was most excited to see in that, where it's like, oh, you can drive the boat around, and it's like this little tiny non-linear explory bit. It was so cool. Yeah, they did add a little bit more exploration in.
And I like that you can like dock to the previous areas of the island. Like that's like by the dynamite huts and stuff like that.
So good. That's one of the things that's so great about that is it's very faithful to the original, but also unafraid of changing stuff up when it feels like it has a good reason.
Yeah.
Also, something I realized the other night is like, how many other contemporary games, when I say contemporary, I mean like within the last few years, like let's say since 2020, maybe even before that, like how many other like shooter games are there outside of the indie I keep coming up with new specificities for this, but I was thinking there aren't that many like AAA games now where you are doing a linear campaign in the same way as Resident Evil 4, where it's not really like a linear hallway like cinematic thing,
right?
But it's also not a fully open world game. Because I feel like that doesn't happen a lot, and I think that's probably one of the reasons that I am so happy with what Capcom's done so far with like the remakes and with Resident Evil 8 and stuff, and even to some degree with 7. Like I like the idea of 7. I just didn't always like some of the ways it did it. But it's like they make games that are not cinematic corridor shooters, but they're also not giant open worlds, and that's just not that common now.
Yeah, there's I think I enjoyed my time with like Baldur's Gate for kind of a similar reason. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is sort of like, it is open world in the sense that you can go to a lot of places, but the game is divided into acts that so like they're kind of like mini sort of open world bespoke content, and then they like choke down to the act crossing, and then they open back up again, then they go back into like the linear parts. And I realized that I enjoy for me in order to enjoy a game like that, I need there to be a feeling of like a journey happening, and like a sort of like progression. And I think games like the Resident Evil remakes and Baldur's Gate kind of have it has that sort of arc of going on a journey and things changing over the course of the game. And not that I enjoy that it doesn't feel like I'm just playing in this kind of nothingness, like it's not like a Ubisoft like open world game where I'm just retreading the same area over and over again.
Yeah, agreed. I need to play Baldur's Gate 3 at some point.
Yeah, it's great, and we're finally getting to the point where they're done patching how incredibly buggy it was.
What is the thing that you kept waiting for them to patch?
Oh, they broke Shield. They fixed it finally. They broke Shield Bash for like months.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm running a party of like 2 Shield users, and I was like, okay, it's it absolutely doesn't work because it's broken.
Okay. I can level up once more here if I break a tiny soul. So, what should I do? and then I'm gonna try that. What time is it? We have 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna try what I'm certain is a boss, and probably die horribly. And then it will be time for stream to be over. Bearer, seek, lest. So these are all there. I'm happy with strength being here for now. Maybe it's time to... I mean, bringing adaptability up right now isn't really going to do anything for...
Yeah, it doesn't raise agility.
Yeah. Okay, vigor is just health. These do very little. Well, you can never have enough... You can never have too much health, right?
Correct.
Yeah, let's just do the health for now. You know what? I'm going to use one of these.
I probably would have used it in front of the boss door in case...
Oh, that's a good... Well, it didn't bring my health back, though.
oh, that's true, yeah.
So, although you're probably right.
Just in case you fucking die on the way there.
Yeah.
Or get invaded.
You know, I just realized something. Let me look at what rings I have. If I took... Is it this one? Whoops.
Correct, the Ring of Binding has nothing when you're human.
And also, couldn't I just put that on once my health maximum goes below what this would keep it at? So maybe I should keep this off until... And replace this with something else for right now. Like, blue Tearstone Ring. What is the absorb HP? Yeah, I'm going to be fighting a boss. Let me just put that on. Oh, that's already on. Should I have something else? I guess I don't think it really matters. Oh, we can see my character not green for once.
Not green beef jerky.
Yeah. Vegan beef jerky.
Vegan beef jerky?
Yeah. The open sea pirate warfare part. That reminds me that I always intended to get into Sea of Thieves when that was new, and when that was new, and then I just never did. Dark Souls 2. What are you doing? What was that?
Even it doesn't know.
What? Hold on, let's try that again. Oh, now it works. Okay. Oh, Dark Souls 2. It's really funny how they made a sequel that somehow has even jankier character physics than the first game.
Honestly impressive.
It is impressive. So doesn't this make some guys spawn? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going through a boss door. Just gonna run past these guys. Sorry, looking at chat while I'm moving. Yeah, I heard Sea of Thieves was like really fun, and it sounded like it would be really fun. Flexial Sentry. I thought it said Flexible Sentry for a second. Oh, right, I can't one-hand that. Oh, neat. There's like two of them. Oh, what? Why did my character do a shield bash?
Because that's if you try to like L1.
I guess. Ooh. Okay, I need to heal, need to heal, need to heal. Okay, that didn't go too bad.
Yeah, this boss design is interesting. I don't think they've ever done it before or since.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Ooh, that was rough.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gimmick, but I've seen worse gimmicks.
It's true. Bed of Chaos.
Bed of Chaos. Oh. Bed of Chaos is like 12 bad gimmicks put together.
Hey, I one-cycled the boss. Not one-cycled, but one try. Nice.
Hell yeah.
So I would say the run-up to that boss was definitely harder than the boss itself.
Yes. Yeah, you're kind of seeing what I meant by that.
Yeah. I am okay with that. If you take too long, the room floods? Really?
Oh, that's the gimmick you're talking
What
about.
is
I thought
this?
you just meant the fact that he like turns around and has two sides.
Wait, am I taking the boat somewhere now?
Yes.
Oh, I'm driving the boat somewhere. That's really
Told you
cool.
This becomes it becomes Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, now we have the open world, the massive open world ocean sailing mini game.
I actually didn't know the water rises and well, maybe I did, but maybe it's been so long. I've never had trouble doing damage against that fight, so I don't think that's ever been a problem for me.
Huh.
That's kind of
okay,
cool.
where am I? Oh, where? I have no idea where I am. Can I get back on the boat? There was stuff I missed. There was... Oh, jeez. This is no good. There was stuff on the boat to pick up. I didn't know... No, I was just examining the thing. And now I can't get back on the boat? Well, that's annoying.
What's in the chest? I forget what's in the chest.
I didn't know that would make the boat go. I just thought it was a thing.
Oh, you might have to go back to the wharf.
Okay, that's not too big a deal. I can just homeward bone, I think.
Can you take the boat again?
I hope so, otherwise I'm soft locked.
Yeah, because I don't know. I don't think you can get to that area. Oh yeah, you can take it back.
Okay. Well. So I need to open... What time is it? Got a little bit. I have these souls to spend. I need to open the chest. I'm gonna...
Are you sure you don't want to spend the souls before you go?
I'm gonna risk
to get
it.
the chest?
I think
All
I
right.
can... maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't risk it, given how this stream has gone with risking souls. Oops. No Man's Wharf can be fucked. I enjoyed that area, actually. Is that one of the areas people hate?
Yes.
Okay. I thought that was fun. Hurrah for chat.
I mean, that's definitely not one of the... That's not the worst zone. There's definitely a lot harder zones coming.
There are worse zones.
There are definitely worse ones.
I'm okay with where agility is right now. Although I could make it higher, I guess. Or I could take these two. Which doesn't do that much for my health.
Yeah, you don't raise vitality or endurance or health.
Oh, right. That will take, yeah, stamina and equip load. Which I do like to have, because I want to have as many options as possible. Just so long as I'm not neglecting... I mean, damage feels great right now. So, I think I'll do those. Okay, and then still got some souls to spend. Let's see. I don't have many. I have not been finding many. Not repair. I have not been finding many Titanite shards.
You'll find more soon.
Okay, that's large Titanite. Could go back to the rapier for a bit. Maybe that would have helped me in No Man's Wharf. No, my damage was pretty good against them. Could up the great sword, although I guess it's unclear whether that's good. This one has been doing great. It's been very useful.
Yeah, Drangleic sword's pretty dope.
I'm gonna bring that up, I think. You can shoot the bell with the bow?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing! That's awesome! Yeah, I know that most damage is from upgrading weapons. Yeah, why am I talking to her? Yeah, I'm like agonizing over character building stuff when it's really not that big a deal because it's Souls. And
plus this game does allow you to restat.
Yeah, and I can respec. Yeah. So what I was thinking about this the other day. What is the purpose of limiting respecs in a game like this, or in not this? Let's say in Elden Ring, because Elden Ring gives you have a lot of opportunities to respec, but it's still technically limited per playthrough. Is that a
I imagine just because you couldn't respec in these games and then they added it, but they wanted it to still be limited in some way.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking specifically of Elden Ring because so much of Elden Ring is like there's a lot of things in Elden Ring that you would expect to be limited and aren't, like the pots. For instance, they're infinitely renewable resource. Your crafting materials are infinitely renewable and stuff like that. And I was trying to figure out if there would be like a reason why being able to always respec would get in the way of your enjoyment. Maybe it's because people like. Yeah, go ahead.
Is that they limit it because they still want people to make new characters, so the lower level areas still have people playing in them.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that is a good point.
People are still putting down like messages and stuff like that.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense, Madman Epic, that in DS2 it's so that you look for solutions using your current build first instead of just immediately respecking. Yeah, that's true. I guess. Okay.
You almost did it again.
I almost did. Yeah. I guess that's true because if you allow infinite respecking, then that is the solution to everything. Then is that you figure out which class is overpowered for the situation and you just respect to that class. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, if the optimal yeah, that makes sense. Skip this cutscene. And it is 2:34, so I'm gonna have to leave off here so I can go pick up Lavender from school. That's how. Hold on. They were. Respecs were unlimited at launch. The boulders.
Oh, because
okay.
You could farm the.
So not necessarily by design. More like. That sounds like something that was probably more by oversight. Maybe not, though. Yeah, let's quit. Yeah, sorry to cut off abruptly, but I need to go get Lavender. Who is messaging me so much? But yeah, as always, thank you everyone for coming. I hope you... this is a heck of a question to ask right at the end of the stream, but... Let me know. So is it better like do you guys enjoy it more with me like playing Dark Souls 2 every stream until I beat it? Or would you prefer if like I continued with Dark Souls 2 but then added other games into the mix? So like next week would be like something else. Then the week after that, back to Dark Souls 2 or things like that. Yeah, let me know which one of those is more enjoyable for you. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna leave the stream with that. That also goes for anyone who is watching this on YouTube. Let me know what you think also. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Dylan, for coming. And I will see everyone next time. Bye.
Yay!